Who doesn't love a really great GMT watch? They're convenient, even if you don't plan to travel often, and they have the appeal of a classic pilot's watch. In my opinion, they're just fun to own and wear. And one of the most iconic GMT watches on the market is the Pepsi Rolex, which the Big Crown updated just a few years ago with the stainless steel reference 126710 that I have right here. It's the red and blue Pepsi GMT-Master 2 we all know and love, but with the ceramic bezel. But at nearly $11,000, the current production model is out of budget for a lot of collectors. For that reason, I challenge you to consider the new Seiko 5 GMT, which retails for just under $500, as a worthy alternative to the Rolex GMT. The difference in price alone would suggest that this head-to-head is an unfair comparison, but is it really? What are the benefits of each watch, and why should you buy one over the other? Let's get into it. I want to start with the design and build quality of each watch. The Rolex GMT-Master 2 is a solid watch. There's no question about that. It utilizes some of the best materials on the market, including Rolex's proprietary 904L stainless steel and Cerachrome ceramic. While the quality of the Seiko model doesn't come close to that of the Rolex, it still has some premium design elements and is a thoughtfully designed watch, from the updated Jubilee bracelet to the unique bezel finish. Both models are mechanical GMTs with forehand dials. Now, while the Seiko 5 GMT really isn't a true GMT, I commend Seiko for introducing the market to a brand new demographic price point for the world of GMTs. Getting into the features of each of the watches, the Rolex GMT-Master 2 has a silky bracelet that I found sits comfortably on the wrist. It has solid end links with Rolex's Oyster Lock clasp and its Easy Link extension system, perfect for on-the-fly adjustment, especially if your wrist fluctuates a lot on the wrist during the day like mine. What's also really nice about the Easy Link extension is that the extra length isn't so obvious on the rest of the bracelet when it's opened up. It's just a really seamless and convenient way to micro-adjust the bracelet without any tools. Now, I'm a fan of Jubilee-style bracelets, and I have to say, I really like the updated SKX style bracelet on the Seiko 5 GMT. It's a nice bracelet for the price point, and if you've ever handled the original SKX Jubilee bracelet, it's a massive upgrade. But it's really hard to compare to Rolex's bracelets in general, as in my opinion, they make the best bracelets, period. The Seiko 5 bracelet, however, features solid links that gives the watch a nice wrist feel and similar Jubilee look to the Rolex. Now, looking at the case, the GMT-Master 2 is a classic size for a Rolex professional watch at 40mm. The case also features a sapphire crystal with a Cyclops magnifier at the 3 o'clock, Rolex's proprietary 904L grade Oyster steel, and of course the famous two-tone Pepsi bezel in ceramic Rolex likes to call Cerachrome. The Seiko 5 GMT features a SKX styled case with the familiar knurled bezel and large crown at 4 o'clock. I also like the rounded sides, which makes the watch feel slightly smaller than the suggested 42.5mm, and the Seiko also features a Cyclops lens over the date. However, it doesn't completely fill the lens like the Cyclops on the Rolex GMT-Master 2, and I know Cyclops windows is a highly debatable topic in the watch community in terms of aesthetics and balance, but to me, I think it works with GMTs and really makes the most sense compared to a date window on a dive watch, let's say. Additionally, the case is rated to 100 meters water resistance, just like the Rolex, so that's a plus. Of course, being a GMT, each model features a 24-hour bezel. Now, the Rolex bezel is something of a technical marvel, not just because ceramic is incredibly resilient, but because of the execution of the dual colors in a single piece of ceramic. They're applied so that the line dividing both colors is crisp and super precise, a great way to pay homage to the original Pepsi Rolex. Like Rolex, Seiko also thought outside the box when developing the Seiko 5's GMT bezel. Instead of using common bezel materials such as aluminum or ceramic, the bezel features a two-tone insert protected by mineral glass to give it that mirror finish look. And although one can argue that the glossy finish isn't as legible as a Rolex's ceramic bezel, it sure looks pretty. Powering the GMT-Master reference 126710 is a brand new movement, the caliber 3285, with a longer 70-hour power reserve and a more efficient chronology escapement than its predecessor. Seiko's version of a GMT is the forehand caliber 434 movement with a 41-hour power reserve. Not bad. It's not quite the same as Rolex's impressive 70-hour power reserve, but still up to par with industry standard. And like I said, not that bad for a $500 mechanical GMT. I also found it interesting that the Seiko movement isn't an entirely new movement developed for the GMT collection. Instead, it's based on the existing Seiko 4 series of movements. Overall, the Seiko 5 GMT is a pretty worthy competitor both in build and design, especially if you're in the market for an affordable GMT. Historically, the words affordable and GMT watches were never really a thing back in the day. And while it was pretty disappointing at the time, I guess it made sense due to the additional GMT complication. That's why when Seiko made their announcement of these affordable GMT watches, it really caught the attention of the entire watch community. You just can't beat the value proposition when it comes to the functionality and overall style. Of course, the Rolex GMT-Master 2 is an entirely different story. The watch retails for nearly $11,000 now, and is a rather tricky model to purchase at retail. On the secondary market, the Pepsi GMT-Master, like I have here, trades for over double the retail price as of filming this video. But that doesn't mean it's entirely impossible to buy one at your local authorized dealer. In fact, that's exactly how I purchased mine. If you haven't already, check out my previous video on how I managed to do this and how maybe you can buy your very own at your AD. Now the final verdict. I think it's safe to say that most watch enthusiasts appreciate the design and functionality of a really great GMT watch, and both the Rolex GMT-Master 2 and the Seiko GMT deliver. You don't have to be a professional pilot or an avid traveler to wear one either. Collectors of all lifestyles and professions will find either watch practical. I also think that there's instances when one model might be suitable than the other. For example, if you're in a sketchy area or you just feel nervous about wearing an $11,000 watch on your wrist, maybe strapping on the Seiko 5 GMT is the better option. Or let's say you're meeting an important client and you want that perfect watch to tie your entire outfit together. Then the Pepsi GMT would probably be my go-to. Which GMT are you going to choose, and why? And if you already own one, I'm interested in hearing your thoughts about it in the comments below. This was a fun one to make, and although this head-to-head is a rather unfair comparison, it goes to show that you don't have to spend a lot of money to enjoy this hobby. It's totally realistic nowadays to purchase a reliable entry-level GMT from one of the top names in the industry, so be sure to like this video and consider subscribing to my channel. I've got a lot more watch content lined up for you guys, so stay tuned. I'm Chris, this channel is Clicky Bezel, and we'll see you on the next one.